Hey, you guys, it's Patty, and I am home from travel. I've been gone for like 2 days, and I'm happy to be home. And I realized that I don't have a lot of fresh, good eats here, and definitely not for breakfast. So I came across a recipe from Instagram, which I find a lot of great recipes on Instagram. And this one's from the bigmansworld.com, and these are called healthy low carb apple pie muffins, and they're paleo. Not that I'm seeking to do all my foods and meals paleo, but I like that it is. There are no eggs in this recipe, no dairy, and no grains. So I pulled all the ingredients and I'm going to get ready to make them. And to my surprise, I actually have a small mini muffin tin pan, I should say. So in his recipe, he actually used them for mini muffins. But I thought that these would be great for a breakfast alternative because I always get stumped. Sorry, it's a little hot in here. I always get stumped with breakfast foods, especially because I typically go to the gym in the morning and I don't want to eat anything too heavy. So I'm kind of looking forward to this recipe. So to start off, it calls for a half a cup of almond flour. And I've been like really trying to get used to using almond flour. It does make a little bit of difference in texture. But according to this recipe, so I buy the Bob's Red Mill version. But according to this recipe, these are supposed to come out really light and fluffy. And he does recommend using a good almond flour. So I don't know as far as degrees of good, better, best when it comes to almond flour, but I know that most of these healthy recipes call for, or they typically use Bob's Red Mill, and I like that. So half a cup. And it says you can use a blender or a mixer when you're making this. I'm using a mixer, so it does say to put in the dry ingredients first. 2 scoops of protein powder. I picked up Tara's Way the other day. It was on sale. I have so much protein powder, but believe it or not, I was surprised I didn't have vanilla. And I've actually had this kind before, and it's really good. So it comes with a scoop. So I'm going to add 2 scoops of vanilla. And I'm looking forward to these because, it's apples. I'm making some tea over here from David's Tea, and this is called the Nut Lovers. So I've got that steeping right now. So I just feel like it's nice for fall and something a little bit different. Okay. A teaspoon of baking powder, just in case anybody's writing this down, but also I'll give you the link to his website at the end. And I like baking because it's so precise, and my mom and my grandmother taught me really well, so I enjoy it. So a teaspoon of baking powder, and I actually had to go pick up let me see, because I did not have this on hand, apple pie spice. So here it is. Maybe some of you already have this at home. I did not. So I'm excited to use it for whatever reason. And it calls for 1 teaspoon. Ooh, very potent. And there's also a glaze that you can make at the end of this recipe. I don't have all the ingredients pulled for that, but I probably will make it. And I can tell you what that will be. So then there you go. You put in, actually, you know what? I'm glad I double checked. It's a tablespoon of apple spice. See, I get carried away. I didn't notice. So a tablespoon of apple spice. That just dumped out a whole bunch more than I needed. Level that off. Put that in there. And now, and actually, you can make your own apple spice. It says right here, it's a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. I actually made my own chai spice mixture today, and it was pretty awesome. I actually put it right in this bottle right here, and it was cardamom, cloves, ginger, white pepper, cinnamon. So good, and I made a pumpkin smoothie earlier. My dog just sneezed. Bless you. Okay, so now, just because I'm getting to the wet ingredients, I just want to be sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so a half a cup of almond butter, a half a cup of unsweetened applesauce, and a half a cup of coconut oil melted. And it does say that you can sub for applesauce. So I melted my coconut oil, put that in. And I do have almond butter it's the Barney butter. I usually have Justin's, but I ran out, so I have Barney butter, and this one's called the Bear Crunchy. I think that's going to be okay, though. I'm not worried about it. So I'm going to do half a cup of this. And I love using almond butters in recipes. I just think it gives it a really good texture, moisture, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and use this and scoop this in. And hopefully this coconut oil breaks it down a little bit because it's so thick. And I want to be able to mix it, obviously. So yes, I made the most delicious pumpkin chai smoothie today. So good. And basically it was just mixing my own chai spices instead of getting a very high sugary chai drink spice mix, which I saw on Trader Joe's. But I read the sugars and it was like 25 grams. So I just thought I'm going to make my own. And it came out really good. Okay, so now I need applesauce. I can use the same one. Unsweetened applesauce replaces the egg and it adds a lot of moisture. And I'm going to do a little bit over because I was just shy on my coconut oil. And it said you can replace it. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Okay. I'm going to dump this in the sink and turn on the oven. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Turn the oven on, bake 350. These apparently only take about 12 minutes. And there's something up with my phone right now, so I have to plug it in. Like I've said before, this isn't live, but it's close enough because I'm not doing a retake. All right, so let me just plug that in. And let's see. So we're going to go ahead and mix this, and then I'm gonna line my tray, and we're gonna scoop it. So it's gonna get a little loud. But I want to be able to show you the texture too. Mixing up nicely. I think the crunchy almond butter will actually be good. So I'm looking forward to it. Can you believe it? No eggs, no grains, no dairy in here at all. Protein powder, so healthy. Okay. All right. This looks good to me. Let's take a look. Nice consistency, right? Looking good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and line the pan with these little muffin liners that I found. And it says it should make about 16 muffins. And my mom's always taught me, and I believe this is 24, to start in the middle of a pan if you're doing like a smaller version in a recipe. That way it kind of balances out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scoop these into the paper cups, pop them in the oven for 12 minutes, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll see how they came out. Okay, you guys, so I took them out of the oven and they're super cute, and these are still warm. And I can't wait to have one with a cup of tea. They smell delicious. The one thing I will say is I think I could have filled the cups a little bit more because I like them just slightly more puffy at the top. And also they're a little crumbly, but remember, there's no gluten in almond flour. There's nothing really to make that sticky texture, I guess I should say, that we're so used to. So they're a little bit more crumbly because one that I took out sort of crumbled apart. But they're still warm, so I think they might firm up a little bit as they cool, but I wanted to show you, and I'm excited to try them. I don't even think I'm going to make the glaze. I'm not sure. I'm just going to kind of keep it clean. So anyway, I'll give you a link to the Big Man's blog, I think Big Man's World blog, so that you can maybe try these out if you want.